Deano's Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410. Night Out on WRMN. It's the talk of the town, so come on and listen now. It's Deano's Night Out on WRMN 1410.
Hey, and we are back with the second hour of Deano's Night Out right here. 1410 WRMN 1410 AM on Studio 14, which is right on Douglas. A lot of activity going on here because they have the Nightmare on State Street.
Chicago Street.
Nightmare on Chicago Street. I have never gotten
Chicago
it right.
Street.
Yeah, I never got it right. I don't know why. I got it on State, but I don't care. It's going to be quite a festival. I mean, they got quite a thing planned here. Folks, if you've never attended it, it's really something. And I only saw it from the front of our station last year because we were doing a live broadcast, of which we're going to do again. And it starts at, I think, 5:30 or 6, early admission.
5 o'clock.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cool things going on. If you haven't ever experienced it, you're going to want to come on down and check it out. So it's Nightmare on Chicago Street. Got it. Matt threw something at me. You know, we've been enjoying a nice conversation. We got Dan Karras in the studio, the gentleman to my left, or could be right if you're watching on the screen. And Dan's been bringing up a very important topic that's really not a laughing matter, but could be done in a more delicate way, could be done in a lighthearted way as well. We're talking about Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's afflicts thousands of people on a yearly basis.
7 million in the country.
7 million in the country.
And counting, unfortunately.
Okay. And it was the ranked seventh as far as death rate. So it's and that number could have gone up, but that was the last time checked by Dan with all his research. And you know, Dan started this with a little short. He did a small film short, and it was called Last Dance, Love's Last Dance, and it was turned into the people that were there that were helping him film that they had touch with people with Alzheimer's in some way or another, whether it be a family member or a friend. And then, you know, Dan wanted to expand this and got the support of the whole crew, which, you know, he listed quite a few people that are involved in this project. And the right here, the website, it's fmnfilm.com. You'll want to go to it because really this is like a fundraiser. It's not just a... we're talking about Hollywood over here, which is his neat nickname that they gave him. And we talked about it, but I'll recap how he's got that cool name. But this is a fundraiser to help the Alzheimer's organization and those that are afflicted with the Alzheimer's disease is really what it is. So we encourage you to go to that website and please check it out, fmnfilm.com. Pretty good, I remembered that.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, it was in my head. And yeah, really, this we joke about a few things, and you know, we talk about Dan being in left field, and a lot of times they say I'm in left field, and sometimes people say, "Oh yeah, that's old Joe. He's out in left field out there." Well, old Joe could be going through an Alzheimer's thing, and we don't know it. Don't miss the signs. Have that discussion, have that serious talk with him, the uncomfortable talk, but have it. And then, you know, once you've identified what it is, there is help that's out there. And the Alzheimer's organization, what's their website?
ALZ.org.
ALZ.org. you could certainly contact them, and you get all the resources that you need. So between the two,
for those who didn't hear the first hour, they do have a plethora of information. They have hints and tips, and they even have an 800 number you could call to get help. In Illinois, I think there's 3 separate chapters, one Chicago and the other 2 are in the suburbs.
Right.
So that there is help there. You don't have to face it alone. And that to see the wear and tear on individuals who are the caretakers, as serious as the disease is, obviously, they're still looking for the first survivor. As serious it is for them, it takes such a toll on the caretakers. And splitting that job off, with someone else, or getting in touch, like I said, with ALZ-ORG, they can give all kinds of tips on how to take some of the wear and tear off of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times people don't realize the strain that is on the caretaker is very, very difficult, because you're day in, day out dealing with this. Sadly, or maybe not sadly, fortunately for the patient, they don't know there's a problem. They don't feel that there's a problem. And, it is, you don't want to call it burdensome if it's a loved one of yours, but it's challenging, to say the very least.
It's
right?
Like we said earlier, it's like taking care of a 2-year-old. You can't leave them for too long before they can either get injured or break something, or 2-year-olds have a habit, and that's why they call it the terrible twos.
Yeah.
And that's basically, even if somebody is 75, they are no longer able to do anything more mentally than a 2-year-old.
Yeah. And how difficult that has to be. I never had to take my father's keys away, or my mother's, because they lived out in Arizona. Lori handled all of that with my other brother, Ron. But how difficult that has to be, to look your loved one in the eye and say, you can't drive no more. Or I got to have your keys. You're doing it for their safety, and you're doing it for the safety of others. And we talked about the other piece that, if someone's got this knife in their hand and they're doing some, could be very dangerous things, gingerly talk them down of it, and then eventually you just kind of keep those knives out of the way, out of grabbing distance.
Well, you're talking about not driving anymore. I'll give you an example. What happened to my aunt, and this was definitely a clue that there was something seriously wrong. She lived in Aurora, Illinois, and Bob, who's her brother, got a call at like 4 o'clock in the morning from the Michigan City, Indiana police.
Right.
Now, you have to remember, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's important. They got in touch with Bob. She had him as a contact number. And they said, we just found Charlene. She was driving the wrong way on one of our streets.
Oh, God.
And they said, we know there's a situation here, because when we asked her what she was doing, she told us point blank, I'm here to do my banking. At 4 o'clock in the morning, in a different state. There's something seriously wrong. And from that point on, they obviously had to take the keys away.
Yeah.
We have a situation like that in our movie, but instead of taking the keys away, we've got a scene where I want to go somewhere. It's time to go to the ball game. Where's the keys? Oh, Mike borrowed the car last week. So that deflects it, and instead of having an agitation or a disagreement about it, and then she says, well, hey, there's a ball game on. We could go watch the ball game. Oh, okay. So this is one of the tools that people can use to make it less stressful for everybody.
And a lot of people sometimes confuse dementia and Alzheimer's. And, there is a difference. And although they share a lot of the characteristics, there is a difference
Yeah,
between the two.
Alzheimer's is a particular form of dementia. You have frontal lobe. You've got there's like 3 or 4 others, but the last I saw, Alzheimer's is about 80% of all the cases. So you could have brain damage, which would cause you to have the same, dementia
Yeah.
situations, or a brain bleed, whatever it may be, which could lead to that. But Alzheimer's is in itself, different. Kind of like the difference between a mosquito bite and a cold.
Yeah.
You know,
I got you. Yeah, but again, Alzheimer's is more of a gradual, situation, and that's why the warning signs are most important. You want to make sure that you're able to get under it, get in front of it rather, and make sure that you can get some type of help.
well, we were talking about, taking things kind of, trying to get a chuckle once in a while. I found when you get into the acting thing, and I was with the Alzheimer's patient, and the others were going into the same kind of depressive state because we're doing these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And we could understand those who have to go through it. Obviously, when you're playing a part, it's not nearly as drastic as living through it. Plus, we could go to normal lifetime after our shoot, but we had to do a little bit of comedic relief once in a while. And Matt, I think you've got a clip.
Mm-hmm.
Camera 2 rolling.
All right, forget me not. Scene between the husband and wife. Take 2 and action.
Now, I purposely made Jenny laugh like that. We're in the middle of, we're not in the middle of shooting the scene, but you heard the director, Dre was directing it. Hey, action. She went right into character. We went into the scene, and it was outstanding how good she was. I mean, I didn't think we were going to recover when she turned around and was just laughing, but she turned back around, faced, and we did the scene. So that's how we dealt with, such a depressing situation.
Well, you have to have an outlet to it all. I mean, no matter what it is, what you're dealing with, you talk about the caregivers, you talk about that. There has to be an outlet. It can't always be business. Business is important, and believe me, all of it's very, very important, and no one's taken lightly. But that little bit of humor, that little bit of, hey, it's going to be okay, that's what gets you through it. You're so focused on something sometimes you're not able to see it. The old you can't see the forest through the trees, and it's the same situation here. In my opinion, is what you're kind of explaining. But you have to take that second. How many different times, like when I do the clips to let everybody know what's going to be on the show, Matt will be the guy on the camera for me, and I'm, yes, son of a, whatever I say, and then okay, let me start this again. And then, he'll say something funny and we start laughing. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to get this. Boom. And then you get it on one take right away. And it's what you wanted from the beginning. But you needed that little bit of, okay, let's get it out of me. You get the giggles sometimes. I mean, how many different times I couldn't stop laughing just to get the little, 15-second, 20-second promo out. But, you reel yourself back in. And we're by far actors. I wouldn't know the first thing about being an actor. You seem to have a handle on that. You're Mr. Hollywood.
Well,
For
yeah,
fancy
I
catches
try.
and for your acting skills.
One of the things we didn't get to yet, we were talking about Alzheimer's being a spectrum, but the same thing actually happens with families. If you have the wife is the only person to taking care of this is 24/7, 365 days a week. How do you deal with that? Well, it's almost, I can't say it's mandatory, but it certainly is a lot easier if you can find somebody else that can help relieve you. We're working with a TV station in Richmond. We're looking at raising funds for, it's not a halfway house. It's a place where you can take a loved one who has it and put them into this care facility for a couple of hours. You can do your grocery shopping or whatever. And those are the kind of programs that are out there. And people, if they know how to look, and again, that's, the alz.org, they can help with that.
Yeah. And you want to have someone that's versed in what
Oh, absolutely.
your loved one's going
Right.
through, because you could get, your insurance will pay for support of a family member, to get that. A lot of your townships will have programs like, what's the one? Elk Grove Village had it. Anyhow, they send it's an organization, non-for-profit organization, that will send someone to the house to help do some light cleaning, even some grocery shopping for those that even live on their own. But you want to make sure that you have someone that's going to be with your loved one that's versed in the Alzheimer's.
That knows what's going on.
Because
Right.
it's not just, oh, okay, you're going and doing my shopping and doing some light cleaning. You're in leaving charge of your loved one with somebody, and they need to know what the circumstances are, so nothing can take the wrong course. So yeah, it's important that you get the right people, and you can get all this stuff. All this information is out there. alz.org. There's just a plethora of information out there. Matt's got, I think, even a website pulled up, the fmnfilm.com. I'm going to keep saying that because, again, it's fmnfilm.com. You want to click onto that. For only $3, you're going to help in the research for the Alzheimer's disease. And the number's going up. I mean, it's 7 million. The number is going up. It's not going down. The cute little, the catchphrase that they say is, still waiting to have the first survivor from the Alzheimer's. And I think that's very important.
Oh, I almost forgot there's one thing we haven't discussed about. This is not just an aged person who gets it. I was just looking at one where the wife was 39 and was diagnosed at 39. There are a lot of people who do start it in their 50s.
Yeah.
So it's not something that, oh, well, Uncle Harry, he's only 55. He can't possibly have it. This is just an old person's disease. That's not true anymore. That it can be somebody much younger than that. Like I said, the one that was 39. So that's another thing that people can be wary of.
Well, by bringing the awareness, which is, again, why we invited you here today, bringing the awareness of Alzheimer's lets people know. If this is the first time you ever heard that a younger person could get this disease as well, it's out there.
We did our job.
Yeah, you absolutely did. Absolutely did. And you go to those websites, I'm telling you, if you're looking for just general information and help, that's alz.org. Let's support this fundraiser. It's a great opportunity to help do your part. You never know. You could be afflicted with it. That's fmnfilm.com. So make sure you click onto that. $3.
Just one more. For $3, people will be able to see, and I've talked about Jenny before, if someone watches that movie and does not fall in love with Jenny, there's something wrong. She was just so fantastic in that movie.
Yeah, working with quality actors. And again, you keep bringing up the fact that everybody that was on set or had a part of the set, in front of the camera and the back of the camera, they've all had an understanding of what Alzheimer's is.
We've all had the experience.
And once you have that appetite and understanding, you get it, okay? And that's why I applaud you. Again, I keep saying it, Dan, for you to turn something in as small as your 30-minute film to want to make something bigger and better, and not only just a film to be on screen. You have your opportunity with that Chicago Police and Chicago Fire. You're already you're on camera there. You're a star. Your softball games, you're already a star, Mr. Hollywood. But by doing something like this, you're a bigger star than anybody on those screens. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Well,
I mean, it's a hero to do this.
I'm going to correct you just a little bit. Jenny is a much better
Well,
actor than
you know what? She's a part of the team.
She's part of the team. Yeah.
There's no one person that's better than the other. If you can go on the team.
I'm just a small
I
portion
gotcha.
of the team.
But you know what? You're getting the message out there.
That's right.
And this message is on our YouTube. It's going to be published under Deano's Night Out. Please take the time to go to it. You know, we're a little more serious about this, but again, you don't want to make it so serious that you don't recognize it, that you don't address it. You want to make sure that you address this. And, you know, in my household, everything is done with humor. So, you know, that's how I'm going to bring it up if it ever happens. And hopefully I'm not the one that ends up with the Alzheimer's. I mean, I hope I could be the support person rather than the person being supported. But, you know, I'll never know. I do want to find out, though, Dan. I'm going to push you on that.
Okay.
You know, off the camera. I want to find out that piece, and I think it's important. You know, like I said, the person feels trapped, and they don't have any clear indication whether that's the case because they see the brain activity. Man, it was a really interesting thing. I mean, because they talked about it, just like with the amyloid plaque and all the different things that, you know, adhere to the brain. It was just so deep. And like I said, I think I know what happened. I got so emotional watching it. I was like, oh, my God. You know, I lost the website on it. And I'm going to check it out. I'm going to have to do some research. But between me and you, I think we could find the answer to that question. And when we have you come back on the show again, maybe we could talk more about that. But, folks, again, the only purpose of our show today is to bring up the awareness of Alzheimer's. You know, we have all these other diseases that people are aware of. We have cancer of this, cancer of that. You know, this is something that sometimes people overlook.
It's the silent disease.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about
Nobody
it.
wants to address it. And I think it needs to be addressed. Don't miss the signs. If someone's acting differently, someone that's close to you, it's not just that old, you know, crazy Ed. It could be signs. It could be a symptom. Make sure that you address it. Go and watch that film. Spend that $3. You're going to help so many people by supporting this film, and it's fmnfilm.com. You have any other type of questions, you're going to the alz.org. All great organizations. Dan, I again thank you so much for coming on with us. We're going to be taking a break here in just a few moments, and you may end up staying with us again for another half hour, if you don't mind sticking with us.
Well,
I think because of the traffic configuration, our guest that was coming here,
probably can't find his way in.
well, I forgot to tell him that Nightmare on Chicago Street.
Is a nightmare.
That's 3 times in a
You
row.
got it.
Those of you playing the home game, I got that 3 times without messing it up.
It's a nightmare getting here.
Yes,
that's
it
for
is.
sure.
They do have all the streets blocked. They did do a good job communicating it, but, you know, who takes time to read which street closures are going to be?
Something like
'Cause you're-
that.
You're so used to going your regular path, and that's what it is. Hey, you've been listening right here at WRMN 1410, a little more serious topic today. We're talking about Alzheimer's. We have in here from VIP Productions, Dan Karras, who's also the CEO of this organization. Dan Karras is the lead actor, plays the individual that was afflicted.
I'm just a part actor.
One of the part actors.
Jenny is the lead
Jenny
actor.
is the lead actor. I apologize. But you're all actors in one thing.
That's true.
Yeah, so we're all team. You're all part of that team. And it's a great little thing. It's a fundraiser, fmnfilm.com. Spend the $3, will you please? It's nothing. And the people you're going to help and save, I think it's well worth the money. You're listening to WRMN 1410, Deano's Night Out. We'll be back after these short messages. Hey, and we are back to Deano's Night Out right here, WRMN 1410 in Studio 14. Our in-station guest today is Dan Karras. Dan Karras has had a lot to talk about today as far as the Alzheimer's situation, and we've covered, I think, a lot of good area. He's been a part of a group that he did a small little 30-minute film, and everybody that was there knew that there was more of a message that could come out. So they came up with a thing called Forget Me Not, and that's the name of the movie, and it's a great movie, and you can click onto it because it is part of a fundraiser so that we're not only bringing the awareness of the Alzheimer's, but we're also trying to raise some funds for a well-needed organization. So you go to fmnfilm.com, fmnfilm.com. See, he's not only an actor, but he knows how to do a little improv over here.
And promotion.
Yeah, see, promotion and improv. It's important than just reading off. Anybody could read off of a script, you know. The talent comes in when you could just jump in and do something like that. But it's been great. I mean, we talked about, you know, the Alzheimer's, really many things, like the research and the accuracy in the film is there because every member in the cast, as well as behind the camera, had somebody in some which way or another that was afflicted with the Alzheimer's. So they had a real good awareness of what this all was. And, you know, we didn't talk too much, which is what we can maybe. You know, and one other thing, too, that I thought was very interesting to bring up, and I failed to do so, and Dan did. You know, Alzheimer's is not an age disease. You know, you could be 39 years old, and you could start developing Alzheimer's. So that's why it's important, even at a young age, even when someone's not their normal character, check it out. If someone's not their normal self, you know, you want to have it checked out. I would want someone to do it for me. I would think you would want someone to do it for yourself as well. But what happens a lot of times is, and we talked about the one on television, Dan, where like the woman who's normally very nice and everything's going good, and now she's agitated because we're used to grab her arm and, hey, how you been? What's going on? And now she's pulling away and looking at you like with strange looks, like she doesn't even know you.
Because you're a threat to them.
You see? And then that's as the disease advances. You could speak a little bit some more on that, Dan?
Yeah, the further along, and again, this is most of the research they know, because the brain is so complicated, I think a lot of it is kind of conjecture. They just aren't sure of what's actually going on. Otherwise, we'd have a cure by now. So it's such a complicated thing, and each and every one of the people who are affected by it, there's so much of a spectrum, so much of a difference between how it affects one person and another.
Right.
And, you know, treating
There's no playbook.
Yeah, there's
everything's different.
There you go. There's no playbook
Right.
for it because they're all different. And again, like you mentioned, you can get it. Like I said, I think we discussed last half hour. There was a lady who got it when she was only 39. And one of the things we didn't bring up is I don't want to say preference, but the incidence of Alzheimer's is twice in females as it is in males, which is something I learned, you know, doing the research. Now, some of that might be, I've been doing this for a few years, so things might have changed, but it happens twice as much with the females as it does males. And that's one of the things. The other thing we haven't talked about yet is hallucinations. Your loved one can be, and when I was in Love's Last Dance, Larita's father, who I was the character of, was always being attacked by bugs. And one of the scenes we did there is I'm picking these bugs off left and right, and my daughter.
Now that happens more in the advanced stages, you're saying?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
But again, every situation's going to be different. Maybe
Right.
somebody that's not that advanced might be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
But my daughter comes in, what are you doing? And here's this bug. Well, she goes, oh, okay. Well, yeah, we have to take care of that. Instead of, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now,
You
there are
don't
no
want to
bugs.
shock them at the time.
Yeah.
But again, my research and my understanding is you don't put a skirt on a pig. You don't just avoid it. You have to bring it up.
Right.
But that may not be the proper time.
No.
You have to then wean into it and know of the incident. And then you circle back and say, well, listen, we got all those bugs off you. What were you feeling? You know, you have to make it where it's so they can explain to you, because surely they don't know why they were feeling bugs crawling on them, or it's not natural. You don't, and there was no bugs crawling on them. So by identifying what it was, maybe it was something that she had drank or something she was watching on TV, or whomever it is, and that was the trigger. Identifying, I think, the triggers early on are very important as well, because as we said, and you confirmed, no two cases are alike. There's no playbook. It's not, okay, he doesn't know where his keys are. Here's what you do for a checklist. It's not like that.
It's not like a cold or flu.
No.
Everybody who gets a cold gets the sniffles, has a stuffy nose. I mean, the symptoms are the same. Same thing with a flu. You get a headache, you get a muscle ache. Alzheimer's, you just don't know. It could be any one of those things, or it could be all of them. Yeah. And in different proportions.
The awareness, again, I keep saying it like, I give you accolades to the crew and you for what it is that you've done. You've got a great actress in there that played your daughter.
No, the great one is my wife, but the other ones who are my daughters,
Okay, gotcha.
they're in a class all by themselves too.
Okay.
Speaking about that, I think we do have a
for me to
scene.
keep track of over here. It's my daughter, but it's not. But it's that, Dan, I don't know.
Well,
I hope I'm tracking and I'm not on your spectrum over here.
Well, I've been dealing with it for a year and a half, so I should know their names by now.
Okay.
But the next clip we have, this is what can happen to somebody. What do they do? Matt?
Just listening on the radio.
Remember
you
when
can
Grandma
hear it.
got me this? Still smells like her. Grandma, I really wish you were here. It's been really hard since you've been gone.
You're strong. I taught you to be strong.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do about Dad.
You're supposed to be there for your dad.
I can't do it all by myself.
You don't have to do it all by yourself. I'll be there with you every step of the way. I've taught you well.
I'm gonna try to make you proud.
You always make me proud.
Okay, Grandma. I know what to do. I love you.
Oh, I love you too, honey.
Yeah, that's pretty touching. That's given an inside view, obviously not hearing the voice, but you're when you're in that position, one can only imagine, you've done everything you can to make the person comfortable, make the person happy. You reach out, what do I do?
That's right.
And the good thing was, it appears, Grandma did talk to her ahead of time, and they did have the conversations. And even if it's just you get that feeling that I am doing the right thing, that affirmation that, okay, I got this.
Well,
You gotta let it out.
Part of it is, the guilt part where, what do I do? What can I do? Maybe I should be doing more, whatever. And that's, again, one of the stages of the process that families will go through. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't we do that? And it's one of those things you can bear on that as much as you want, but that's not going to help the situation.
No.
You have to, remove the guilt from yourself somewhat so that you can go on and help the afflicted person. Or in this case, Nicole is helping out, going to go help out the rest of the family. What can I do? Okay, now I know. And again, it's part of the process.
And the key part is, again, those of you that are listening, if one person catches it, okay, one person catches it, you won't end up with this guilt, right? Who wants to wear the guilt that you didn't respond to what you were seeing and you knew something was off and something wasn't right, that guilt is a terrible guilt that you're going to have to carry. So that's why by Ed, the character in the movie, which is portrayed by our guy over here, Dan Karras, you know, we're bringing that out for you. We're bringing that out to let you know that make the observations. Look what's going on. Address what's happening. Get help. If you don't know, you know, what it is that you're up against and you need more help, you go to alz.org. There's all the help, all the resources that you need. You want to get an idea of what's happening in real life, you watch this film. And this film, Forget Me Not, is a fundraiser as well. We've been talking about it, you know, for the last 2 hours here. It's fmnfilms.com.
And let me do my job once again.
There you go. fmnfilm.com. It's a $3 ask. That's all we're asking for. It's a $3 ask. You'll learn about the Alzheimer's. All of the money at this case, in this particular case, 2/3 are going toward the Alzheimer's foundations. The rest is just to pay off the production fees. Once production fees are all paid, 100% is going to go to it. So the cast's heart is all in the right spot. The cast, I can't speak highly enough about them from what you told me, Dan. Thankfully or not thankfully, because of their touch with this Alzheimer's, be it whatever, family member, however they had the connection to this terrible disease, it has brought a group of people, a group of talented people together, actors and actresses, you know, projectionists, the guys on the sound, your grip guy, everything together to put out a production like this. Name of that production, again, is Forget Me Not. You don't want to miss it. It's a great movie.
One of the things, I guess we didn't really go through what our goals were. And the first one was to make more people aware of the situation that they may be facing. The second is that you're not alone. You know, people who get into this, well, gee, I'm the only one, you know, what do I do? Where there have been so many others who have gone through it and can help in that regard. You know, you're not alone. There are others there. The third is that there is assistance out there that they can get to so that they're not alone, and so the burden doesn't completely fall on one person. If there's family involved, it certainly is a benefit. That's one of the things we discuss in the movie, that, well, we do everything as a family. And this is the thing, hopefully most families can come together. But doing the research I've done, I've found that there are instances, and this actually, when I did Love's Last Dance, my one daughter was taking care of me completely because my wife had already passed away, and the other daughter was too busy with her life to be bothered. Well, you hate to be that person that's too busy to be bothered. And hopefully maybe this will help some families come together and say, well, you know, we have to do it for dad or mom, whoever may be affected. Let's get together, and we may have our disagreements in politics or anything, whatever it is, but let's get together and work this out as a family.
It's the common goal. Just
That's
like
right.
you putting the film together, it was a common goal. And that's what we're talking about. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for the resources that are out there. If you are caring for an individual all by yourself, reach out. Reach out to any one of these organizations. I bet Dan would help you find somebody if you're, you know, trying to get some time to where you got to get a breather away from this. There are resources that are out there. Go to, again, we got the two you can go to. Obviously, the one with the
alz.org.
is really your number one, and that's where I get most of my answers. For all these years with the different organizations and with the Italian American organization, it was alz.org that we got everything we needed. They got materials, early signs, the difference between the dementia and the difference between true Alzheimer's. A lot's got to do with that the amyloid, the plaques that go onto your brain. So that's why sometimes there is medications that are out there that may be able to slow things down and give relief to the brain, but it's inevitable. The Alzheimer is going to win. And knowing about it, making your loved one comfortable, being active, doing this as a team, because this is another affliction that takes the whole family in order to get through it. You're not going to do this on your own. You can't shoulder this all by yourself. It's way bigger than you. So reach out.
And one of the things we did discuss earlier in the first hour is having the afflicted person involve them and keep them as active as possible, whether it's playing checkers or whether it's doing word finds, whatever they may enjoy doing, even playing bingo, having them involved in discussions with the family, because unfortunately with mental illness, a lot of people think of it as a slight to the family.
Yeah.
And the person is shuffled to the back. Nobody wants to admit that it happened to their family. It's a black mark on the family. And you can't treat it that way and help the person at the same time. You have to consider the life of the afflicted person as a family. And that's where, like I'd mentioned before, this should be a unifying situation for families who have disagreements, whether it's political or money or religion or whatever it may be. Maybe you've got a Packer fan and a Bear fan in the same family and they can't get together. Well, this should bring you together, and for the good of the family along with the afflicted
member,
person.
Absolutely. Sometimes a situation like this, not only like we're talking about, everybody's got to be a part of it, but it could be a positive because you have to work together. And by working together, it will bring your family together closer. I mean, we're saying the same thing, but
Oh, yeah.
in a different way, that where you are maybe a divided family.
Well,
And you want nothing to do with nothing. Oh, leave me alone. Everybody's gone their own way. And now the situation happens to a loved one in your family. Now everybody's pitching in and getting along.
Well, we were talking about, sometimes you just have to break away from the serious and you have to have a little bit of humor on occasion. And I don't want to offend anybody, but we need a little humor here. Go Bears!
There you go. Yeah. What do you think about them for this weekend?
Hey, they got a shot. I mean, whatever it is, they're 1-5 or something. So, but the Bears are like the Cubs. You never know what team is going to show up.
Yeah.
How do you, in the Cubs case, how do you score 13 runs one game and you get shut out in the next? It doesn't make any sense. But
Well, you know what? They're on the board right now. They're our home team, and you can watch and listen to the Bears right here on WRMN 1410. We telecast every single one of them. Every one of the games are broadcast here on WRMN, just like we did with the Chicago White Sox. Everybody loves the Cubs, me included. My mom loved the Cubs, so I'm a Cub fan just for that alone. But, it's a home team. You got to support your home team. And if, back to our topic with the Alzheimer's, maybe somebody was into sports, and this is the glue that's going to keep you together, the commonality. There's things you haven't heard of in a long time. People used to do coin collecting, stamp collecting, even planting gardens and what have you, and, putting the seeds like in the wintertime in them little squares, so that by spring they've got, beautiful plants or vegetables on the start. So then when summer's here, they got a jump start. So if that's what somebody was into, or maybe you could introduce that to somebody with Alzheimer's, it gives them a sense of activity in their mind, and it lets you be close to them. It lets you, be together.
and
I mean, you don't want to be the guy that didn't want to spend time, and all of a sudden they're gone, right?
And again, the clue is you have to remember you have to live in their reality. You can't expect them to live in yours.
Yeah. Don't force them to do what you want to do. Hey, do you like stamp collecting? Well, yeah. Do you like coin? Do you like to play? You know what? I've always liked gardening. There's a thing. Maybe you don't like gardening. Well, take it up for the interest of your loved one.
Hey, there's a ball game on. Oh, let's
Yeah.
go watch it.
Let's go watch it. Yeah. Talk about, hey, when's the last time you've been to a ball game? Try and stimulate something even from the past, maybe. Again, depending, because the Alzheimer's, sometimes they call it the short timers. It's it's the short recall that they're having trouble with. Sometimes it's the long recall that they're having trouble with. Every case is different, and I'm just kind of going back over, trying to recap everything. No case is the same. There's no playbook, and there's our playoff music at the top of the hour here. But take an interest, look for the warning signs. ALZ.org. Anything you want to know about Alzheimer's. Help our fundraiser that we have here, fmnfilm.com. Dan Karras, you have been a wonderful.
Well, Deano, I appreciate the time. And
We're glad that you're here. Come again. Love to have you. Matt, thank you very much for operating the board and being a part of everything with us, as always. You listen to WRMN 1410 AM right here at WRMN in the studios, studio number 14. So there's that website. Get that film for only $3. fmnfilm.com. And there you have it.
don't forget to pop the popcorn and grab a drink before you start. And you might need a tissue or two.
Absolutely. All these tug at your heart. We thank you very much for listening. We'll see you again next week, 2 to 4. Deano's Night Out, right here, WRMN.